ולחיות את הרגע, להתחיל לאסוף את השברים.
That's the soundtrack from a recent video put out by members of Kibbutz Nir Oz. It shows a montage of death notices, those white papers with chunky black Hebrew lettering common on Israeli street corners, for all the members of their community killed last year on October 7th. The kibbutz released this video on Sunday, Israel's second official day of national mourning for the victims of the Hamas massacres. In July, 9 months after the devastation of their community, Nir Oz survivors Barak and Ziv Morag and their children, Gaia 8 and Itamar 4, arrived on the doorstep of Canadians Danielle and Ziv Kaplan. They came together through a volunteer program called Hugs for Hope. It pairs Israeli evacuees with Jewish, Canadian, and U.S. host families who offer up their homes as a place for rest, for breathing space, for a momentary escape from the constant drumbeat of trauma and loss and war that's defined the Israeli families' lives for an entire year. Danielle Kaplan runs communications for Hugs for Hope. Her daughter Gabby also works on their communication and administration. The Kaplans hosted 2 Israeli families last summer, both with kids, each for 10 days. The Morags were their first. They went on excursions to Center Island, Legoland, and Niagara Falls, and just luxuriated in the simple pleasures of everyday life, cooking breakfast for one another. One day pancakes and maple syrup, another shakshuka, rest and relaxation. And according to Ziv, even some healing.
It was actually the first time since
Itamar, the younger, is almost 5 years old, and actually is coming to our bed like
almost every night.
Almost every night, once, twice a night.
And in Toronto, he slept through the night for the first time since October 7th.
Today on the CJN Daily, we'll be hearing from the Kaplans and the Morags about the profound effect their time together had on both their families. I'm Zach Hoffman, sitting in for Ellen Besner. This is what Jewish Canada sounds like for Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. Welcome to the CJN Daily, a podcast of the Canadian Jewish News, and made possible in part by the generous support of the Ira Gluskin and Maxine Granovsky-Gluskin Charitable Foundation.
In Berlin, rumors are spreading.
Holocaust victims, their bodies are just dug up.
It's a shunda.
But the truth is even more unnerving.
Was your family in the Shoah?
Dude looks like he was in the Shoah.
As the world panics...
This is some ritual, bringing the dead back to life.
No, you said this wasn't illegal.
It isn't, I don't think.
One woman seeks the truth.
These are questions you can't answer.
And you're too afraid to even ask them.
Justice, a Holocaust zombie story. An original audio drama from the CJN in association with the Ashkenaz Foundation. Listen now at the cjn.ca/zombies or wherever you get your podcasts.
A 117 of the 400 residents of Kibbutz Nir Oz were killed or kidnapped during the Hamas rampage last year. Among the murdered were Judith Weinstein Haggai of Toronto and her husband, Gadi Haggai. Their bodies were taken into Gaza and have not been recovered. The kibbutz was also home to the Bibas family, parents Yarden and Shiri, and their 2 fiery-haired children, Ariel 5 and Kfir 20 months old, all still being held in Gaza. The members of Kibbutz Nir Oz declined to participate in the public commemoration event last Sunday after officials announced that the ceremonies would not include any speaker from a family bereaved on October 7th or during the subsequent war, out of fear they might express some criticism of the government. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has never visited the devastated kibbutz since the attack last year, even after being publicly invited. The reasons are widely seen as political. Also last week, Jewish communities across Canada marked Simchat Torah, a typically joyful celebration, capping off the high holiday season, when Jews finish the annual cycle of weekly readings from the Torah and start again from the beginning. The holiday fell on October 7th last year, meaning that this year, a day usually characterized by raucous dancing with Torah scrolls and liberal drinking late into the night, became far more complicated. Some congregations presented new Torah scroll covers dedicated to the memories of particular victims. Others made real the Israeli slogan, "We will dance again," to commemorate those who died at the Nova Festival. The celebrations were different, but the celebrations did go on. And so, with the themes of finding rays of light in darkness, of drawing out new beginnings from endings, we thought it was the perfect opportunity to air this conversation with Danielle and Gabby Kaplan and Barak and Ziv Morag.
And I want to welcome all of you to the CJN Daily. It's great to meet you.
Really nice to be here, Ellen. Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for bringing it to our attention. It's an incredible program, and I'm excited to hear how it got started and meet some of the original families, the OG, as they call them, the original families. We'll start off with Danielle and Gabby to explain a little bit in brief about how you got mixed up with all of this.
I know. So it's really amazing, this connection that occurs between an Israeli evacuee family, such as the Morags, and a Canadian family who until recently were strangers. So there is an initiative called Hug for Hope, and our family heard about it really in passing conversation. It's a very grassroots initiative. It's a volunteer initiative connecting Israeli evacuees, and at this point, families who were on the kibbutzes around the Gaza Strip envelope. And it is really connecting North American families with these Israeli evacuee families, offering a period of 10-day respite in their homes for support, for calm, for relaxation, time away from their trauma.
You said you heard in passing. Where was this? How did that take place?
So this was a backyard conversation where a friend of ours had just mentioned that her family from Hamilton had brought a couple, Moshe Adar and his girlfriend Zilly from Kibbutz Nir Oz, to their home through this very grassroots organization. It was started in Israel by Eliezer Manor. He is a physicist, a venture capitalist. He is the kindest humanitarian. And we just went, we're in, connect us. Put us in touch with Eliezer, put us on a call. And we said, we're in, match us with a family. And he came back and said, I have 2 families for you. Choose which family you want. And within seconds, Stephen and I said, we'll take both families. We'll do it back to back. And honestly, from the time that we met Barak and Ziv on Zoom, it was an instant connection. And they felt like family of ours, even though we'd never met. It went from there.
And when you said, I'm in, what financial and other responsibilities does this mean for the Canadian host or the American host?
So what it means at this point, it means you are responsible financially for bringing the family, which means airfare and the full hosting. You're responsible for providing the space in your home. And a very big part of this is an emotional connection, an emotional investment. And so you have to be emotionally open to connecting with these really wonderful families. And as a host family, and Gabi can attest to it, it is the most indescribable. I know it sounds so cliched that in such a short time, this can happen. And Barak and Ziv and Gabi can talk about it, but it does.
So I'm going to turn to your Israeli family now. I'm calling them the Israeli family. How did you hear about this? How did it come to your attention?
The same Eliezer that Danielle mentioned, he came here to meet us. It was quite shortly after we just moved from Eilat, from the hotels to our new houses. And it wasn't in our top of our list, let's say. But I did went to listen. And I came back with the papers to fill. And I told Ziv that let's fill the papers. And we have nothing to lose. So we did it. It was on, I think, early February. And I sent the mail and I literally forgot about it. And then sometimes late May, I think, maybe even beginning of June, I got a phone call from an unrecognized number saying, hi, it's Eliezer. And then he said, you listed for Hug for Hopes, and I have a family that is willing to host you. He said, I hope
if you don't mind.
You don't mind that it would be in Canada, not in New York. And then I said, yeah, of course, no problem. And I came back to Ziv, told her about it. And the first reaction we had was, okay, thank you, but no thank you. Because it was very quick. He said, I have a Zoom meeting for you. And like 2 or 3 days later, we talk and meet the family. And we said, okay, let's meet them, be polite, say thank you very much. But we cannot force our presence on other family for 10 days. And it's too much. We're not the kind of people that,
that lives in another's house.
Yeah, in other families' houses. We do our own vacations. We can take care of ourselves. But then, just as Danielle said, during this meeting, it took us 2 minutes to understand that it's happening. Because their first question after our names was if we'd rather fly with El Al or with an American airline. So, okay, these guys are serious.
She asked what the kids like to eat,
what the kids like for dinner and breakfast.
Food to play with, and we were like, oh my God. And we were so surprised.
Yeah, and we realized
we fell in love.
We fell in love and we realized that it's going to happen for real. And it felt good right in the beginning. And from then, I think it took us like a few hours to move from the official Zoom and mails to a group chat on WhatsApp. Very quickly, Danielle and Steven's kids got into this chat group as well. In the beginning, we couldn't even figure, okay, Gabby is the daughter, Josh is their son. We just see the names, but we have to figure it out. But we're already chatting. And it went very quickly. In a few days, we had our flight tickets and it's like, okay, we're doing it.
Okay, so from January till May, you've been in a new apartment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just you guys, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom in Kiryat Gat.
I'm ashamed to say 5 bedrooms.
5-bedroom, don't be ashamed.
I'm ashamed to say.
You're lucky.
It's a neighborhood built for a religious family, so they have a lot of rooms in here. It's not that we need that big house.
It's only like 10 times bigger than the house we had back in the kibbutz. So.
And how did you think about Canada? Did you know? Have you ever been to Canada before, or do you have family, friends?
We knew it's. I didn't know what to think. I know it's a nice, nice country, colder than we used to be in. We know that Toronto is a big city, like any kind of North American city you would imagine. I realized it's much nicer though, but I didn't know it before.
So tell me what your family was like in August before you showed up in Canada. What was the emotional stress? What was the anxiety, especially for your children, having lived through what you lived through? And what did you hope would happen?
The situation, in the days before we arrived, wasn't much different than the situation in the weeks before it. It wasn't really affected.
No, the daily influence is from October 7th, not from the weeks before we came.
Okay, so how were they since October 7th then?
So different kids, actually.
They are different kids than they were, but they do quite good.
Yeah. Actually, I think that they are doing quite good because we took them to see therapists from a lot.
From the first day, actually. From the moment they could be in to get therapy, they got it.
Yeah, but they had it in the kindergarten as well. But we saw a few changes through their behavior, like they want actually now as well. Only in Toronto, they went to sleep alone.
Without us
sitting near them till they're falling asleep. Actually, we were so surprised that in Toronto, they were just going to sleep alone. After a few days, they just went up into the bed and went to sleep. And we were like, no way they are sleeping.
And they slept through the night without coming to call us. It was actually the first time since
Itamar, the younger, is almost 5 years old, and actually is coming to our bed
almost every night.
Almost every night, once, twice a night.
And in Toronto, he slept through the night for the first time since October 7th.
And few days in a row, since he started to sleep in a row, all the days in Toronto, he
didn't wake up.
Yeah, he was sleeping through the whole night.
And what about yourselves? How were you, and what did you hope would happen in Canada?
I can speak for myself that I was hoping to have a good time, to have a vacation, to really enjoy this, both the meeting and the place. I think that both expectations were fully met.
We wanted to get a relaxed time, like not running or going through a lot of places, to enjoy the people that we're gonna meet.
We did some, we were looking like in Google and stuff, searching for things we would like to do or would like to visit. And we built a plan that was good for us. Like, I think it was quite low paced, not too much.
Relaxed and flexible.
But we didn't feel like we missed anything. So.
All right. Well, I mean, Danielle, you took them to Niagara Falls for sure, right?
I'm going to hand this over to Gavi. Gavi was the coordinator of all of our activities. She can fill you in as to what we did and how we made it child-centered.
Mm-hmm. Before meeting them, like, we just got the vibe that we would connect and that we're very chill, relaxed people, just like the Morags. So we wanted to make sure that it was geared towards like their interests. So we did a lot, but we also made it very like a typical day. So we went to Niagara Falls, we went to Center Island, they went to Legoland, we took them to the zoo, they went to the CN Tower, and then we also got to go up north to Cottage for 2 nights, which was really special as well, and gave them the Canadian North experience. And Itamar was saying he wants to bring the lake home with him, so that was really special. And then we just, like, on a day-to-day basis, like, we were walking, we were cooking together, we were playing games together, the kids, we would do crafts together, play with the dogs. So as much as we were doing a lot of these really wild, touristy, fun things, we got to just have them live like a Toronto experience, as if they were just our relatives coming to visit.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to describe the days, like we were living together.
Ziv and Barak spoke a little bit about just one glimpse of a wonderful thing where Itamar started sleeping through the night. And we had a couple of those. We had Gaia, who was a little bit more serious in the beginning, that is their 8-year-old daughter, and we were at Center Island, and she took off her shoes and she started running and laughing and smiling and doing cartwheels. And she ran up to Ziv and she said, "Mom, I feel like I'm back in the kibbutz." Right. And that indicated to us that she felt happy and safe, and it gave her the feeling of what she loved so much. And there were so many of those examples, and Itamar sleeping through the night. It just shows that this kind of initiative works, which is really unique, because it's really a family to a family.
We have, of course, in Canada, I'm sure you know, a very strong tie to your kibbutz for many reasons, but especially because of Judith Weinstein Haggai, who is Canadian that was killed, and her husband, and her body's in Gaza.
Yeah, we know her.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you if you know her, and maybe you want to share your knowledge of her with our audience.
Actually, Nir Oz is a very small community. Before October 7th, we were only 400 people. So of course we know her. I was born in Nir Oz, so I know her from Al, her son. He's in my age, so we grew up together since we were babies. I remember both of them, Judy and Gadi. She was an English teacher in my school, and she was teaching us, and she was always so funny, and she liked to play and to do like theater stuff during the classes. Gadi was so talented. He was a musician, actually, and the whole families got it from him. And he was very, very talented man. When they got older, she got to the mindfulness thing, and she was teaching it in school, in kindergartens. She developed programs of mindfulness. That's what I remember. And actually, they were such cute couple. They were going every morning to walk together through the fields. I could see them when I went out to work. And this is what happened in Saturday morning. They went to their walk.
They were the first line, actually, because they were in the fields outside the kibbutz.
Yeah.
They were in the first line of impact. They were the first to report, no?
Yeah, they were the first to report from the fields. They called to the
security guard.
To the security guard, and they They thought to go to the fields to find them, but they couldn't go out because we had too many tourists in the kibbutz already. They couldn't go out from the kibbutz to save them. I don't know. We have so many stories. This is one of them.
I was just going to say, in you sharing your story, I think for us as a Canadian family, what was so profound is when you're in the situation of a collective trauma, which they're all in, everybody has had massive losses, whether it's neighbors, friends, family are hostages, families are taken, homes are burnt, they're displaced. How do you share your trauma when you've lost your home, but you still have your husband, and your neighbor and your best friend doesn't have her husband? How do you share that? So I think one of the things we gained from having the Morags with us and the avatars as the other family, and I've heard the same, is when they are here, they can tell their personal story and feel that they're in a safe and trusting environment, and they are able to share their personal experience because they have so many stories to tell, each one more horrific than the next.
I want to ask you, did you know that when you were coming here, that you would be expected to maybe talk about it? I mean, maybe you didn't want to talk about it. How did you decide how you were going to deal with, like, to put on a show? You don't have to, you know what I mean? But it's kind of it's awkward. I understand that.
Since, we came to Canada, it was like 8 months after the events, let's say 8 or 9 months. It's 8 or 9 months that wherever meets you, you are asked. Because people are just interested, So we got used to telling the story and the stories wherever we go. Some places it's like, just like very, very on the surface. Some places you get into deeper levels of the story. But once you say you're from Nir Oz, that's the first thing that comes up immediately. And so we had no doubt we're going to talk about it. We offered it to share our story with the community in Toronto. First, because we felt that it's something that you guys would be interested in. Second, we really once you hear it from first hand, it does much more than you get by reading some kind of stories in Facebook or wherever. So it was very important for us to share the story. How many people wanted to come and listen?
You needed to tell people, we're so full.
Yeah, so. We could. We could have it like in a theater, and we had enough people. So the people were so thirsty to hear what we have to say. So how can we not let them know? We have to. We have the people that are willing to hear our story. It was important for us that it will be a part of our visit. Yeah, I don't want to say vacation.
So you didn't call it a vacation?
Yeah, we did, definitely. This part is not a vacation.
Yeah. The main part of this coming here was actually not to share the story, and it was to have a vacation, to have fun, to have laughter. And we definitely accomplished that.
Are you at all, when you're in Israel, do you get, you're in Kiryat Gat, but do you go to the hostage protests on Saturday nights? Have you been partaking in some of those? What is your stand on that?
Yeah, we have protests actually over here in Kiryat Gat near the...
I think the correct word is more like an assembly. It's not like a protest, It's not like a...
No, it's get bigger and bigger every week. Barak is staying with the kids. It's my job to go and protest. Sometimes I go to bigger protests, but most of the time over here in Kiryat Gat with the community.
We have it every Saturday evening.
We have it every Saturday evening, and one of us always will go. It's very important to us to go to the protest and to be with the community.
Can I say something here? I think something Ziv said to me early on when she was here, and we were just talking, and she said to me, I can't believe that the hostages aren't home. I thought the first day they would come home. I thought the second day they would come home. I thought the third day would come home. And it just gave me the feeling that they love, this is their family, their neighbors, their friends, their everyone, and they just want them home.
Yeah, that's the thing. All the rest of the political things or the other attacks, I don't know, we're not...
Yeah,
we just want the hostages to come.
Yeah, but I just have to say like that. just as much as we should take care to do everything for the hostages to come back, we should do everything that the people from the north come back to their houses safely. But
people need to live their life in a safe way, stable,
we don't want the people of Metula to have their own October 7th. So whatever it takes.
What is the situation with your personal house in Nir Oz? Can you go back, and do you want to go back?
First, we can't.
It's too shame that our house is burned. We can't go back. It needs to be destroyed.
It's a building for destruction.
So even if we want to come back, we don't have a house to come back to.
And that's the situation for about 80% of the houses in Nir Oz.
In Nir Oz, so
they are for destruction. Even if they weren't burnt, they are destroyed from the inside. And also, many buildings, it's like, we call it like train buildings, like 4 houses, one building that is one long building with 4 different entrances, like different 4 houses. And, if 1 or 2 are burnt, so the other 2 will also have to be destroyed because it's connected. It's connected. So the situation is that about 80% of the houses are to be destroyed. And the main process that Ziv works on is not the physical part, but what should be done.
What should be done with the community to
also with the buildings. That's a discussion that is going on now. We have no decisions what will be done. Some say that we need to destroy and rebuild. Some say let's leave part as a memorial. Some say, me for example, leave everything and build the new houses just like half a mile apart.
It's not possible, Barak.
Yeah, but you can say, it's possible to say.
It's possible to say, it's not possible to do.
Maybe.
No, it's not.
Todo posible.
No.
They say in Spanish.
Todo posible, nada seguro.
Yeah, that's the same.
I want to ask everybody one last question. So the takeaway, the most thing that sticks with you after your Canadian visits and your Israeli visit, was it a food or a place or an experience that you had that you still remember that is sort of your takeaway?
For us, it wasn't the tangible things that we did or that we saw, or the schnitzel that we learned to make, or the labneh that we're still making every week. It's just the connection that we've made with this family. And that, we FaceTime with them once a week, and we're messaging them all the time. So I would say for us, it's been just this relationship that we've built with them since.
Yeah, I'm going to add to Gabby's for sure. It's literally family, and our whole family got involved, our immediate and extended. And I want to see those children grow up. They are now part of our family, and this is a connection that's going to last for as long as I'm alive.
For me, it's definitely the Cheesecake Factory. just like Danielle and Gabby said, the fact that our kids would ask to FaceTime Jamie or Danielle or Gabby just the way they ask to FaceTime their grandparents, that's the thing. It's that's the sign, the final stamp on the connection that was made.
They ask to FaceTime or to send pictures. And
send my picture
them.
to Danielle and send my picture to Grandma. So, yeah.
Cheesecake Factory is pretty good, though, I have to say.
Yeah.
That's worth the whole trip by itself, because the lineup is huge. But you took them to Yorkdale one?
Yeah. The fun we had together literally was everybody cooking together, everybody sitting down at the table together, everybody playing Rummy Q or different card games. It was just
great. Yeah.
I'm so happy that you told us about this. I'm sure our audience will be thrilled to hear, and we're going to put all the links in our show notes. And I want to thank you and congratulate both of you for a beautiful story, and I'm so happy that this happened. Thank you for sharing this with CJN Daily. Thank you, Danielle and Ziv, Barak, and Gabi.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And that's what Jewish Canada sounds like for this episode of the CJN Daily, made possible in part by the generous support of the Ira Gluskin and Maxine Granovsky Gluskin Charitable Foundation. And one final note. At the CJN, we believe in the critical importance of showcasing Canadian Jewish life across the country, from BC to PEI, with all of its richness and challenges and blessings. And if you're listening to this show, you probably do too. The Canadian Jewish News is now running a special promotion. Right now, sign up to receive our quarterly print magazine using the link thecjn.ca/subscribe to get an entire year of magazines completely free. That's 4 issues starting this winter, completely free. All you have to do is sign up for the magazine at thecjn.ca/subscribe to get in on this amazing promotion. That's all for today. Ellen Besner will be back in the driver's seat in the next few days. The Daily is produced by me, Zachary Judah Kaufman. Our executive producer is Michael Freeman, and our music is by Dov Beck Levine. Thanks for listening.